Hi everyone, I'm Brittany Mendoza. I'm class BRE 140 in Property Management. So today I'm going to be summarizing what I have learned in this chapter. There are three important concepts. The first one is building moratoriums and limits. The second, rent control. And third, supply and demand. The first concept I learned was building moratoriums and limits. A lot of the problems come from in supply and city and county services. Many communities have placed moratoriums on building new housings and condo developments. The effect that it makes is so they can limit the supply on units in existing houses. This tends to reduce the vacancy factor of existing housing and raise rents. In some areas, growth limits are supported by property owners who realize that growth limits will increase the value of developed property as well as rents. I also learned that many communities experience higher housing prices. They slow the growth and rate below the housing demand for the area. That is called NIMBY. It's the anti-building slogan for not in my neighborhood. The second concept I learned was rent control. I learned that in some states like California and New York, rent control is legal in specific cities. With rent control, our society is burdened of providing reasonable or below market rents. It is shifted from the community to individual landlords. Also, that one of the problems with rent control is that it restricts the new housing supply rather than meeting the needs of lower income people. Rent control also creates deteriorating structures. Landlords will often only provide minimum maintenance so they can avoid code violations. Lastly, the third concept I learned was supply and demand. I learned that if demand for a particular type of property exceeds supply, that the rent will rise. If the demand is less than supply in that neighborhood, the rent will drop. This is basically the capitalistic market system. In action, it works. I learned that real estate marketplace is different from the economic models that are set forth in the textbooks because it is stratified marketplace, which means that there can be a high vacancy factor for high rent units and very low vacancy factor for middle income and low income units. So to sum it all up, this chapter was very informative and brought up a lot of things I didn't know. I learned that interest rates are low, the ownership becomes more affordable, and families have the rental as well market in favor of ownership. And interest rates rise like they were in 2018, then the affordability of the ownership drops, which then keeps the family renters when they would have preferred ownership, which I thought that was interesting as well. So thank you guys for watching, and if you have any